Right.
Early in the morning through like 9 or 10 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
And so from a technology standpoint, they still have access to that. Now, we do have special software that we load on our computer science and CSIS computers and labs where we teach classes that the faculty pick and software the students need for specific classes.
Right.
And we do that even in College of Business as well for like project management software. They have that access to that. And then we also provide lists of free software that if the student wants to download to their laptops and use a laptop instead of a class computer, of course they can.
Right.
And so a lot of that specialized software, like the programming languages and things like that, you only find on our open lab that's up there, but also on all of our CS students courses. So as an example, we don't have project management software on our computers, but in management for their classroom, they do. So it's kind of a case by case. Now the library, of course, we don't have all that software on those computers.
Obviously.
And the primary reason is because if you're a CSIS student, you'd come to one of the labs here or a classroom. Now, are you familiar with our cybersecurity lab downstairs?
I've heard much about it. Heard much about it.
So those computers are not even on UNA's network. They dump straight to an outside ISP, and they're totally isolated from UNA. So we can do special cybersecurity training in there, run software research that's not affected by UNA's policies and everything else. Now those you have to either have special access to or be a CSIS major. However, we do have math students that do need to do research in certain areas, and those computers have GPUs, so they're higher quality computer, a lot more expensive, and utilizing those for specialized topics. So those students and even some engineering students, we give access to, and then they come over and use it as needed.
All right.
In special cases. So we try and make it open to any students that need it and utilize it, even though it's CSIS specialty. Now, are you familiar with the generator or makerspace?
No, sir, I'm not.
Okay. That's someplace else you need to go when you're talking about technologies and stuff. So it's a 5,500 square foot makerspace that's free to every student at UNA. We have every woodworking tool, saw, drill you could ever want. We have a water jet cutter that will cut like 4 or 5 inch thick steel. We have a laser cutter and etcher. And then we have a fiber laser that will actually etch metal. And so doing metal signs. Our laser cutter will make all kinds of really cool systems like this. And so this award right here is actually one that we made as well. And we have some computers down there as well. So we have Adobe, the full Adobe suite for students because that's a very expensive software package.
Absolutely.
So we provide
Oh no.
You're good. To all UNA students down so they can come to the generator if they need to, like interior design students come down. And then we also have specialty computers down there for doing CAD, like AutoCAD, and as well as doing electronics type stuff. And we have a full electronics research lab down there so you can make your own breadboards. We have vinyl cutters so you can make stickers for fundraisers or t-shirts where you press them. Full sewing machine, everything. So Mitch Ham is the director of that, and he can give you the full rundown. Because a lot of students, even though we try to promote it a lot, they're like, oh, it's a College of Business thing. It's like, no, this is university-wide.
And I didn't even know that.
Yeah, students, see, and we try and get it out there and get that information to let students know that these are resources that are free for them. And whether they want to play with their hobby or start a new business, that's all there for them to use. And for prototypes, we provide a lot of the materials for free. So you can get 24/7 access if you join the Collegiate Entrepreneurial Organization, the CEO Club. It's like $30, I think, per year, so it's not cost prohibitive, and then do a little bit of safety training. So that's another great resource that's available.
Mm-hmm.
And then from the library, if the students don't have a computer or anything like that, you can check out laptops. And so they have the laptop, which is the same laptop that I use. So it's pretty good. And from a technology standpoint. Now, you did mention that we have 10,000 students, but 5,000 computers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those students are also online.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a huge online from our MBA and other programs too, and our BBA Flex. So I'm surprised we had 5,000 computers. That's pretty impressive, actually. I didn't think we had that many.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other thing that we do every year as a faculty is we meet and determine, okay, what software systems do we need on our lab computers? What books, what other systems can we get for free or open source to reduce our costs overall as much as possible? What the new technologies and resources are coming out. Of course, with AI, we have a lot of that coming. Also, we have just what we call bare metal servers. We've got servers that have nothing really on them. And so for students' projects, research, they can utilize one of those and build it. I do a lot of research here, and so we do embedded systems, as an example, from a technology. So this is a microprocessor that runs on Wi-Fi. And so in some of my classes, we teach how to hack systems to do penetration testing. And so the students are required to build a hacking device. And so we provide this type of information. This next spring, we're doing something new because talking about students needing access technology.
Mm-hmm.
So myself and about 4 students have developed a data center in a box. We call this our micro data center. So we have IT.
Do you mind if I take a video?
Oh, no, absolutely. Take pictures, video, whatever you like.
Oh my God, I don't want it to show me. And this is the one that you and 4 other of your students have built together.
Yes. And so if you've ever been to a data center or you've seen a picture of a data center, they've got these, and we've got a simulated one downstairs. It's not a big one, but you'll see these rows and rows and columns of computer servers and everything else. Each one of those servers at the lowest cost is probably $2,500. So for our students, they need to learn how to build data centers. Mm-hmm. Well, that cost us tens of thousands of dollars to do. So we do teach them the same concepts of building it, except now we're using something called a Raspberry Pi. Huh. And so each one of these can be a Linux server. Now it's not as powerful, but it runs the same software.
Right.
And operating system. And so over here on the side, this is a router. And so for each server rack, you have a switch and a router for your networking. Runs the same software that other routers run, same thing with a switch. Then they run, as an example, a web server, a database server. And then they may also put in a file server in different types that you would see in a small or medium business or an enterprise. Mm-hmm. This whole thing is less than $1,000. And so we've got 6 of these that we've built because we have in our computers labs, we have 6 switches. And so this will plug directly into UNA's network and it becomes a micro data center that students can work on. Mm-hmm. Well, from a cybersecurity standpoint, we had to teach them security. Web security, email, database security.
Right.
Well, the only way to do that is to build it in the cloud because we don't have the hardware, and that's very expensive. So now we can build it from bare metal, meaning there's nothing on these devices. They have to format the hard drive. They have to load the operating system. They have to download and configure the software. And then over here, this little guy is running something called Kali Linux. And Kali Linux is a hacking platform, and it's got hundreds of hacking tools. Mm-hmm. And so we use it, yes, you can use it for evil, but what we use it for is to test security. It's called penetration testing. Mm-hmm. And so this is one of those areas where we saw a need, high cost. How can we provide existential learning? In other words, hands-on learning for our students
Mm-hmm.
that they can go into a job interview and go, oh yeah, I've set up this micro data center where we're running a web server and email, blah, blah, blah. We use Linux. This is the software we use, which is what all the other companies are using.
Yeah.
And this is how we did it. Well, that becomes very interesting in a job interview, and then they can start talking about what they learned and how they learned to do database testing and how to test websites to see if they're secure. And so this is where we have a concept called blue team, red team.
Mm-hmm.
And so the blue team is trying to configure the servers and everything to make it secure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the red team comes in and they put their little black hat on and they try and hack the systems.
Oh.
Okay, and so this becomes our infrastructure class. But other faculty can check these out as well and use them for demonstrations, teach them other pieces, because we can load any Linux software on this device that you want to
Mm-hmm.
and have multiple options. So even to the point where each student could have its own software blade or server blade to be able to run stuff.
That's amazing.
And so we're trying to, because, cost technology, if you stay on the top, is very expensive.
How would you say like at the most, what would you think on right off the top of your head would be like the number exactly?
Yeah, I mean, for a university size, it could be millions of dollars a year to continually upgrade new software
Right.
and hardware, because we already spent, I'm sure, and you could talk to Evan Thornton, our CFO. I'm sure he would love to talk to you, or even Ethan Humphreys, who's our Chief Technology and Security Officer.
Mm-hmm.
Both great guys that would probably love to talk to you about what all is involved and the costs and the time.
Mm-hmm.
We upgrade our computers every year
Mm-hmm.
from a software standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
and then every about 3 to 5 years they replace the hardware. So we just replaced all the hardware in all of our I think in all the labs this year.
Right.
So it just got updated to newer stuff. We're constantly evaluating lower cost, higher quality, better things. There's some new computers that are coming out that are just a little bit more expensive than the ones we have, but they have AI chips built into them.
Right, and that's something you were trying to adapt like into the workforce and like how to
That's
teach
right.
students.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Catherine's a perfect example of that, But we've also done some crazy stuff. So it goes back to needs. So 2 years ago when AI started coming out, you had to have like $100,000 computer to even run it.
Mm-hmm.
And so me and a couple of students went to Ethan and go, you got any junk we can at least try? And so we did a whole research project on how cheap of a system can we legitimately run AI business cases. So basically, what's a business case that real businesses have a need for AI?
Mm-hmm.
How can we do it? And we got it down to $3,500.
Wow.
And so that was 2 years ago, and of course that keeps coming down every year.
Mm-hmm.
But we actually went over to their junk pile, pulled some of the servers that you'll see downstairs if you want to go look at them,
Mm-hmm.
and we actually took those, cleaned them up, put new operating systems on there, and now we've got more resources for our students too. So we try and recycle as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
To save money and provide those real world experiences for our students.
Exactly. So I kind of like to circle back on what you had said earlier about like the what technologies like are available that a lot of
Mm-hmm.
students use for like business wise or
Yep.
marketing, interior design. So what would you say? Again, I didn't even know this beforehand before you even told me. Like, so how broad of a like perspective like is that available to students? Like you said like with marketing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Besides CS students, like the technologies you have here, like what's the extent of like depending on like the major of the student, like what's available here? Like
Yeah, so I can't speak really for the other colleges.
Mm-hmm.
I can nursing a little bit because we're doing an AI project with them, so I had to become familiar. I mean, they spend a ton of money. Like those dummies that they have up there are like $130,000 a piece.
Yeah.
And then they have to pay for maintenance and insurance on them of like another 12 or 13,000 a year. So they spend a ton of money to get their nursing students the best, greatest thing they have. Of course, our College of Business students utilize the same labs that the CSIS students do, so they're same hardware, same software. And again, if faculty determine there's specialized software that they need, then they provide that on the computers. Even our EDBA, Executive Doctorate of Business Administration, they have specialized software they have to utilize that the university provides to the licensing and training and stuff like that for them as well. But any student, like I work with engineering students a lot, they come over and utilize. We talked about math as well. We do have some marketing and interior design students that have worked on projects. In fact, I don't know if you know this or not, but several of our interior design and architecture students designed this building. So I worked with a group of about 12 in the planning. They did interviews of faculty, got ideas from students. We interviewed students, and we spent a whole semester and built what they call a lookbook, basically a PowerPoint presentation of all the cool stuff. So like the solar powered charging stations downstairs came from their ideas. The student study areas downstairs and the downstairs break room and everything for students, all of that came from their projects. Wow. Including the furniture that you see on this out here on the right side and the upstairs for math are kind of identical. And the furniture downstairs were all inspired by what the students did. So not only are we trying to provide services and technology as students, we're trying to get them involved in the actual design of our buildings and spaces that they're going to use.
Right. So with basically from what you've told me and basically what we've discussed when it comes to the technologies here, do you think that UNA could, continue to improve the quality of what they provide students technology-wise, or do you think we're good at where we're at?
Well, you're never good at where you're at.
Right.
You always have to move forward. And I'll brag about our CTO, Ethan Humphreys, because he and I meet a lot. He meets with other faculty and department chairs. And if we do a good job on our side, because he does as we direct him. So as an example, they don't determine what software goes on our lab computers because they're not the ones using it. It's us and our students. And so that's why we meet each time. They try and stay on top of the latest and greatest technology. We're actually having a meeting about what AI servers would look like at UNA. And we've been doing some research with a local group to determine what's the right amount of GPUs and server memory and stuff like that we would need to provide UNA with AI research. And so we've been working on that for a year. We finally got approval. We're going to be moving forward with it. So there's a lot of other pieces and parts that we try to stay ahead of, but we're also a university and we have to stay within the budget. And so they do a great job projecting what that would be. So for the next time we replace it, we're looking at, okay, where are we going to be in 3 years from a technology standpoint? How is that going to impact what our students are doing in the classroom and for laboratories? And that's where this came from, and some other stuff that we've been working on, looking at, embedded AI chips, GPUs for labs. What does that really mean? What are the students actually seeing out in industry? So I'll give you another example. We actually have industry partners and advisory boards. So we meet with them usually twice a year, and they tell us, they do a tour and see what we've got and everything else. And then they provide feedback, give us insight. What are students now doing in work? What skills do they need at work? And how can we then utilize the equipment, computer stuff, and other things and experiences that's going to enhance them getting that job and performing well at their job. And so that's that's kind of what we try to do.
Yeah.
And so right now I think we're in really good shape for most part, either through the cyber lab downstairs for heavier computing projects, but even the computers and the network we have, Other things have been going on. Recently, we've upped our internet access speeds,
Mm-hmm.
and so through our ITS department, the work Ethan's done, they've done a great job taking and continuing to increase our availability, so we don't have the outages as much, improving our power. In fact, that's where we were coming from, was looking at how can we improve our power downstairs in our labs to prevent power outages, getting it on generator, doing things like that as well.
Right. And with what you said with AI being built into like, newer computers and, asking the question where we're going to be at with technology in the next 3 years, could you see a lot of the technology that we see, around here on campus beyond, just this building here?
Yep.
Could you see those systems being updated to fit, to continue to upgrade, to students' needs, but also upgrade to AI and like systems like in the library or even anywhere else here on campus?
Yeah, as needs come along and that cost benefit analysis happens, and as the prices of these systems continue to drop. Now they've increased right now due to just world economic weird things, of course, but the prices and everything else we think are going to continue to drop. There's new technologies that are cloud-based that are allowing us to do more without having to buy hardware and utilizing other equipment. University of Alabama is doing a supercomputer center now for AI, and so UNA's been invited to partake in that. So students that really need like high-end data center and GPUs and AI, or faculty for research, we now have the means to do that without having to go through Google or Amazon or others.
Without paying a subscription of some kind.
Yeah, and it's we still have to pay for it, but the costs are a lot less because we kept it in the family here in Alabama, and it's subsidized some through both generous offers and supporters and things like that.
Well, how soon do you think students and faculty could see like a new like upgrade to these systems across campus, like in a time interval?
Yeah, that's based mostly on the equipment lease. But so when you purchase a laptop or a desktop, usually it's a lease of some time frame, and then when that's up, then they go through and do the release. That's something Ethan could really tell you what that looks like. Because like I said, they just upgraded all of ours in our labs here to the newest and greatest. So I don't know about the library or the other colleges, how that works. That'd definitely be an Ethan question. But I do know there's a cycle. And to help with the budget, they don't do the whole campus at once.
Right.
So they'll do certain parts and then they'll roll to another one and another one to kind of keep those costs constant.
Right. Man, I can't think of any more questions. You pretty much answered everything
Okay.
to like I can like even think of. Like matter of fact, you even like told me things I didn't even know I could
Yeah,
ask.
but definitely for your story, talk about the generator. Go down there with Mitch Ham. It's in South College Street. I don't know if you know where it's at, but
I can figure it out.
yeah, and we do try, with FYE and with we take class tours down there, but it's a great resource for just anybody. We have somebody, this semester we had students really wanted to learn how woodwork, and now it's building beautiful furniture down there. It has nothing to do with UNA, but it's a great thing because they learn how to do hard things.
Right.
Try new stuff, fail, and then succeed. And that's really what education is all about.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
You've given